Okay, I'm going live. All right, we have ambient noise. We are ambient. We also have me. I'm opening YouTube now, which I should have done earlier. And we are live with one person signed in, who I'm guessing is me. All right. Well, it's still just one person. I'm pretty sure it's me. Oh, we're up to 3. 3 people. I'm tweeting it out now to my 8,000 some followers, at least one of whom will probably join us. All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Bo Dewars. You can tell from the name tag. He's Ken Clark, the wizard of the cameras. And we are here. Thank you for the 2 or 3 of you who have joined us at this stage. I'm sure it'll be more as the day goes on. This is the Glitter Bombspiel. We are Potomac Curling Club, a stone's throw from the Beltway. Promise that'll be the last time I use that pun in this broadcast, at least until we have 10 people on. Our feature game here is eights across the board from Potomac. Nick Datlow, Kyle Snyder, Jason Fountain, and Jimmy Fallon, not that one. They are playing Have a Stiff One if you're into that. From Potomac/Mayfield, Joe Rockenbach, Melvin Shaw, Julia DiBaggio, and Shannon Carney in that one. Other games going on. We have Philadelphia team Coldplay playing a Plainfield/Potomac team, House of Lalabia. Queer the House on sheet C is a bunch of youngsters from Potomac, or at least I think 3 of them are youngsters, versus the Husbands from Plainfield/Potomac. Sheet D is an all-Potomac matchup. That's 100% those bitches versus Rainbow Road. This is an LGBT-themed event, so you will see a lot of team names that relate to that. My favorite is coming up in the 12 o'clock draw. That is non-binary code error 1138. You'll also see Courtney Shaw, the other half of the Shaw couple. If we switch to sheet A at some point, you will see her in very festive clothing. We are indeed underway, and thankfully Ken has put all sorts of neat graphics on. Ken has done all kinds of great work to get this going. We have upgraded a bit with our cameras and our graphics. Sadly, we have not upgraded our webcaster. Commentator is still me. There will be other people coming up later, of course, in the course of the day. In fact, you will get to hear from the Shaw family themselves later in the broadcast. All right, I will actually pay attention to to our sheet B game now. We are through. That is the second of the rots from the red team, and I did not see which team is red and which team is yellow. Perhaps Ken knows? Okay, well, we can figure it out because, let's see, Melvin Shaw is right in front of us.
Well, I was muted. There we go. Now you can hear me.
Oh, okay. Ken joins in now. And yellow here, it appears Melvin is sweeping. Melvin is on Have a Stiff One if you're into that. And so that would be Shannon Carney delivering for Have a Stiff One if you're into that. I will, over the course of the game, try to figure out the other sheets. But for now, let's just stick with this one. There's obviously no score on any of the other sheets. No one has delivered more than 3 rocks. In fact, here we are on the second is up now for 8 across the board. This is Jason Fountain. I have no idea how he is not frozen to death wearing what he's wearing, which is virtually nothing. So, yeah, in fact, if you say he's a knee slider, he is literally a knee slider because his knee will be touching the ice. So that delivery, we just have one red in the house. This one, they're getting to the top of the house. It would be center guard, just shy of the house, it looks like. They're at the far end. And our far end camera doesn't quite pick it up, but from where I'm sitting, I can see that it is dead center, maybe a couple of feet in front of the 12-foot. Looks very close from here. To our yellow team, have a stiff one. If you're into that, Julia DiBaccio is our second. And this one appears to have a good bit of weight across it because Shannon Carney is, in fact, running, which I cannot do on the ice. Looks like that is going to take care of the one red in the house, and it will stick. In fact, it will roll kind of behind the guard, but it is probably 3/4 of it is visible for the scantily clad Jason Fountain. Jason is, though, going around the other route. In fact, going very wide. We'll see how much this curls. When we played Tuesday night, I didn't think there was a lot of curl. And he nudged, well, he got a slight rub off the yellow, but he is going to sail through. Yeah, when we played Tuesday night, the ice was very fast. It has been, only in the past week has the weather started to calm down a bit. I was actually out here one day when it was 90 degrees outside. In fact, 95 or so degrees outside. But the ice was in very good shape. Despite that, we have a wonderful crew of ice makers, and we got ready for the season with the help of Eric Clausen, father of Hunter Clausen, who is playing this weekend in Scotland at the World Mixed Championships. Yes, it was a predominantly Potomac team that's going to that. The U.S. champions, Hunter Clausen, Catherine Gorey-Benova, Eli Clausen, and Sydney Mulaney, who is not from Potomac. I forget where exactly she is from. But they will be playing at the Worlds in Scotland. We saw them Tuesday night out here practicing. They seem very relaxed and ready to have a lot of fun over in Scotland and bring home a gold. All right, we are now to Vice Rocks for 888s across the board. And this is Kyle Snyder. Facing two yellows now at the top of the house in the 12-foot. It looks like he is trying to draw this around. He's gone out fairly wide. Sweepers are diligently on this, so maybe that'll help Jason Fountain stay warm when he's not wearing much. And that one comes up shy of the house. Not sure that's really what they wanted because now they're facing two yellow, and yellow has the hammer. Have a stiff one if you're into that. And this is Melvin Shaw. Again, the other half of the Shaw mixed doubles couple. Courtney Shaw is on sheet A. She is also our organizer and has been running around like a demon possessed in the warm room. I think it's probably less stressful for her to be on the ice. She does a fantastic job with this Bonspiel and even puts up with me on commentary. As Melvin shot, we've now got a free kick wall basically at the top of the 12, or just into the 12. A couple of them touching the 8.
Something tells me one of them's not going to be there for long, or two.
Right, the one that was just thrown is pretty heavily exposed, and that is the one they are targeting. As we are to the second Vice Rock for Kyle Snyder, and he takes a furious swing at this one. Blitz from here that's going to hit the inside. That maybe get a roll into the inside. It does. It kicks out one of the yellows. It from the overhead view, it looks exposed, but I can tell you there are guards in front of that. That's going to be a very difficult yellow to get out of there. And now there is a fair amount of traffic, and yellow has shot. It looks like red has second shot, but that might not be for long because that is what Melvin Shaw is targeting here. A little less weight. This one, oh boy, this has to curl to get any of it, and it does not. Okay, so that might be the break that our eights, and I'm just going to call them eights from now on. That might be the break that eights really need to get to skip rots now. Nick Datlow is examining the house and now running down the ice. Again, having fallen on the ice once, I get really nervous when people start running. We had one Bonspiel last year where the final rock involved two people falling down in the house and miraculously not hitting any of the stones. It was like the scene in Pulp Fiction when the guy comes out of the bathroom shooting at John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson and misses them. I don't know how they fell and missed any of the rots. Unfortunately, they were not injured. All right, so Nick Datlow about to deliver the first of our skip rots. Seems to be going out fairly wide to the left of the, well, you can see the broom placement overhead. Maybe trying to tap one red up or perhaps draw around everything. It's staying out fairly wide though. Again, Tuesday there was not a lot of curl here. Obviously conditions change a lot in the course of 5 days. And oh, they get the bump and they are shot. Wow, that was a very well weighted shot from Nick Datlow. And now a red is shot behind an awful lot of traffic. So difficult shot now coming up for Joe Rockenbach. I see you're getting the long view now, courtesy of Ken, the wizard of the cameras. And so you can see just how much traffic there is up front. Now yellow could come around and freeze wouldn't get them shot. If they could somehow tap the red a little ways, they could get something going, but that could be kind of difficult. We do have live chat running. I am taking a look at it. So if you have any comment, anything that you would like to say to those of us here, if you have any kibitzing comments, if you just want to sound off about, let us know how the sound quality is and so forth. We always appreciate that. Probably can't see sheet A right now, but the rainbow feathered Courtney Shaw has just delivered one of her skip rots. Heavy traffic there. In fact, heavy traffic on sheet C too, where again we have the young crew from Potomac against actually what looks like a fairly young crew too. Joe Rockenbach, who as you may see from the back of his sweater goes by Tony, is delivering a fair amount of weight here. And he's going to wreck on the guards. I don't know if that might actually help when they deliver the hammer. It does open up a bit of the house. The red shot rock is now exposed, but Nick Datlow could probably guard that fairly easily. Of course, that's easy for me to say. I can't throw a guard, which is unfortunate because I often play lead. All right, Nick Datlow with the last of his rots now. Their sweepers are Jimmy Fallon, not that one. You can see in the nice knit cap. And Jason Fountain, who is wearing no cap, no sleeves, again, I don't know how he's not frozen to death in there. But I grew up in Georgia. I have less cold tolerance than a lot of people. Looks like he is the sweepers are on this. Looks like it could plug up the center a little bit. You are getting a view of that. It is going to, well, no, I think that actually overcurled on them a bit. It is going to leave that red exposed, and that could be bad because yellow is sitting second and third right now. It's just a question of how far they can get that red one to move. We are up to double digits now in viewers. Thank you very much for tuning in early on your Friday. Hope we're distracting you from work a good bit. Well, sheet C is down to skip rots, and they have almost every rock in play. That is a royal mess over there. Here comes Joe / Tony Rockenbach to deliver. Could be a very interesting hammer here. It does look like, of course, he is trying to play the takeout on that red. It is going to have to be weighted very carefully. This might be going through from where I'm sitting, and it is. That is going to be a steal of 1 for 8 across the board. During this break between ends, I'm going to run around and see if I can get updates from other sheets, and I will be right back.
This is a hammerstone coming in on sheet C if you want to watch on the right side of your screen. And it's moving slowly. There it is, not going to do anything useful, I guess. So it looks like maybe a couple yellow on sheet C. Oh.
Center guard. Keep it straight, don't switch. I think it's going to go hard. That's all you guys. Mine's good. It may overcurl a hair, so it looks like it did. Yep.
Okay, so we have updates across the sheets. I can tell you that on sheet A, red is House of Lolabia. That is Courtney Shaw's team. They have scored 1 with the hammer. Our feature sheet is, you may already know, 8 across the board from Potomac. They are red. They stole 1 in the first end. Sheet C, Queer the House, which is a team of young female players from Potomac. They are red. The husbands is yellow. They scored 2 with hammer on sheet C in the first end. On sheet D, the red team is 100% those bitches from Potomac. They have stolen 3 in the first end. And the yellow team is Rainbow Road, also from Potomac. So that is your update through one end. Ken has managed to get all the scores updated. So in our feature sheet, we have 2 red stones just to the, I'm going to call it as you see it, to the left. Yeah, to the left. That's actually the same view we have from here in the warm room. So just to the left, the one in the house is touching the center line. The guard is not. So 8, as I'm going to call them, is He's got one in the house and one guard. Yellow, we just had somebody take a slight tumble and trying to sweep a rock that is actually going out of play. So that's an unfortunate miss for Heavy Stiff One if you're into that. Red has 8s, 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 has 2 rots in play, one in the house beyond the tee line. By the way, I'm going to put in a little plug here. I put down that tee line a couple of weeks ago, along with many of the other lines here, under the able direction of Eric Clausen, because I had no idea what I was doing. But it's really neat to see it at that level as we get another red into the house, but it might bump their other one out, and it does. So they are, well, they're closer to the button, but that might not be good. So if Julia DiBaggio, who has recovered from her slight tumble, can maybe freeze one in here, but it looks like they are actually calling to, are they calling to peel that guard? Or ticket? Because this is the 5th rock. So free guard zone should still be in effect. So I'm not really sure what they're trying to do here. They're trying for a promotion here.
Maybe even 9.
Well, they took that out. I'm wrong. That is the 6th rock. So. All right, so we have the 2nd rock from the 2nd, Jason Fountain, for 8s. The sweepers are off of this. I think they want this to curl a bit, get in front of the one they have at the back of the forefoot or the back of the button. It is not going to get there. And Joe/Tony Rockenbach has already put his broom on that rock in the center. Saying to get rid of it, or yeah, it looks like he's looking for takeout weight. Again, our yellow team have a stiff one. If you're into that, has the hammer in this end. They had the hammer in the first and the steel one. This is going to make contact, but no, it's not. No, it's not. There is curl on this ice. And I believe some people have discovered that to their chagrin. That's early in this. It's early here. We are to Vice Rots now, and red 888 is going out wide with this. I think they want to try to throw the center guard that did not materialize on the last shot. This is going to get to the center line, and it's curling. And okay, you can't see it on the overhead. You can see it on the camera view that Ken has up, though, because Ken is on top of things. And it is
about as blocking as it could be.
Yeah, that is
99% guard.
that is. You couldn't draw a line any straighter than that. And so Melvin Shaw is targeting that guard to try to get rid of it. If he's lucky, he might be able to get the red rock in the 12-foot as well. He is not lucky, but he did get that guard out of the way. I would imagine the call here from Nick Datlow, our red team 888, is simply going to replace that guard. Yes, he does have the broom out wide for the 2nd of our Vice Rots from Kyle Snyder. Yeah, this one is probably too wide. Fountain and Fallon, our diligent sweepers, are on that one, trying to get it to the center line. Well, if the last one was a 99% guard, this one is more of a 12% guard.
Go for 14.
14. Okay, we'll split the difference and say 13. Will that be lucky for the red team? Probably not, because Melvin Shaw is probably not going to miss twice. All right, this one, oh, it's got to get past that guard. It does. Oh, perfect shot from Melvin Shaw.
Even got a little bit of roll behind the
yeah.
guard.
So now we could actually call that, what, about a 22% guard? So a lot of it will be visible for Nick Datlow, as we are to Skip Rocks on sheet B now, as Melvin fist bumps with Tony Joe, or Joe Tony. Who glanced at me through the window as if he knew what I was saying. This is relatively soundproof, so we can say whatever we want, right? So Nick Datlow is delivering the first of the Skip Rots. Again, who are just joining us, the red team from Potomac stole one in the first end. So yellow have a stiff one, still has the hammer. Brian Dauernheim, our bartender, has just come out to check up on us. I still have my caffeinated beverage. All right, this one's coming in, and it's coming in with a lot of sweeping and not that much weight. If they could get a tap on that yellow and sit right on it, that would be about perfect, and that is what's going to happen. My goodness, that is a very well-delivered shot. If we were calling the Briar, and we were calling Canadians who've been playing for 37 years, even though they're only age 25, we would nitpick and say that perhaps they didn't want to bump that yellow one that far, that they did leave a little bit of room for the yellow to get the red rock out of there and not jam. That is going to be a very tricky shot, though. Now, yellow is second shot. So we're in kind of the same situation as we were in the first end, where we have a red rock in scoring position, and yellow could put up a crooked number if they can get it out, but it's not the easiest of shots. And in the first end, Joe Rockenbach was not quite able to pull that off. On sheet A, Courtney Shaw is grimacing over that shot. And hello, by the way, to Courtney Shaw's mom. I heard from Courtney that she tunes in for these and actually has mentioned my commentary, which nice to know I'm leaving an impression. But hello to Courtney's mom. If you're up at this hour, I know it's early where you live. And, of course, you'll be interested in our feature sheet as well. Where Melvin Shaw is groaning as the yellow rock sails past, which, again, is what we kind of saw in the first end. So we're now going to have the last rock for the red team from Potomac, Nick Datlow. The broom is being held out fairly wide, as you can see. I'm guessing they're going to try to put a guard up, make it more difficult for Joe Rockenbach to to nudge that red one off. It's touching a piece of the button. All right, delivery on the way. And yes, it does look like a finesse shot. Going out wide to start. Sweepers are off of it, even though it is going quite slowly. So this will be kind of a longish guard, which will be just fine for them. Actually, it's going farther than I thought, and actually curling a little bit more than I thought. Actually curling a lot more than I thought. That is still going to be a very difficult shot. Yellow is still second shot, so barring catastrophe, yellow would give up no more than a steal of one. The only way to give up a steal of two is if they go for that red one on the button and miss and nudge the one touching the 8-foot farther into the 8-foot. It seems unlikely, though. Courtney's mom will be happy to know that Courtney seems much happier with her second delivery, and they are in fact lying for setting up for a possible steal. That's over on sheet A, of course. On sheet B, our feature sheet, this is the final delivery of the end from Joe Rockenbach. From have a stiff one if you're into that. Going out fairly wide. And this could be an interesting finesse shot. There are a lot of people blocking my view, so I can't see if it's going to get there. They're trying to get it past the guard to nudge. They are not going to get it past that guard. Oh my goodness, did they knock it in for the doomsday scenario? No, they did not. So it is going to be just another steal of one. So at the end of two, we've seen two consecutive steals for 8s across the board. Is that a 0 on sheet A, Ken?
Oh, no, I typed that by accident.
Okay. Let's say Courtney had, if it was I did not see a quadruple takeout over there. Courtney's on top of things. I'm sure she will post the score very shortly. Over on sheet D, we have had a second steal of 3 for 100%. Those bitches, they are 100% in front right now. I know that is awful, not even wordplay, but it is early in the morning. So after 2 ends, it is 6-0 over there. Sounds like a lot of my son's soccer games. And no, not on the winning side. First delivery on our feature sheet is hangs around as a guard just off the center line. What did I just... Oh. Sheet C has just finished its second end. They have not yet posted the score. We didn't try to see what's going on. There was a bit of a crowd in the house, but not too much. Oh, we do have an update from Sheet A. That was, in fact, Coldplay managed to draw for 1 against the 4 in the house, so they have averted catastrophe there, scored 1 with Hammer. That is 1-1 after 2. Sheet C, where I think the average age of participants is about 12. They have not yet posted the score from the second end. Jimmy Fallon now delivering. He is not spoiling it with laughter as the other Jimmy Fallon often did during his tenure on Saturday Night Live. He is drawing behind his own guard, and it looks like it could be a pretty good shot. Sweepers are on it, have been on it for a while, and now they stop, and that will be, it curled just a little bit more, so we can't say 99% guard. We'll say, maybe, it's hard to tell from my angle, but maybe about 60.
going for it.
They're going to go for it. This is going to be an interesting shot for Shannon Carney. I know leads are always excited when they get to throw takeouts, and that's what she's doing. She released this one very early to get that extra weight behind it, but it looks too narrow for me. I don't think that's going to hit unless they wanted that guard out of there. Of course, the free guard zone still applies at this point. And yes, indeed, it was swept out of there, and they will replace it. So after that delivery, the house still looks exactly the same. Jason Fountain now up. He has not reached for any outer clothing yet, so he is still in his I've been told that I've been saying this backwards the whole time. This is Jimmy Fallon. They have switched order from what they put on the sheet. So Jimmy Fallon is the one who is not wearing much. That is Jason Fountain with the cap, who is currently walking down the ice and watching this one, perhaps going a little too far. Well, no, it's taking that curl. That one took a curl like Bugs Bunny taking a right turn at Albuquerque. It suddenly wound up on the center line. Next to, but diagonally, well, you can see it on the screen there. So that two medium longish guards. Julia DiBaggio up now, and I can confirm that they did not switch names around because I saw Shannon Carney's name tag. Julia DiBaggio is with the first of her rods, and she is going after that red one that is partially buried. Is she going to get the, or will the sweepers get this past the guard? They will not. That bumps up a little bit out of the way, but that might not be the worst thing, depending on whether Jimmy Fallon, as I now know he is, can replace that guard. And that does indeed appear to be the call, as this is thrown without much weight, fairly wide. Curling a bit, but I think this is going to leave, that's going to leave the shot, that's going to leave our shot rock fairly well exposed. In fact, it'll leave it totally exposed. It's actually going to end up just next to that, so if it's me, I play the double here, but I don't have any draw weight, so that would probably be the only thing I would do. Every once in a while, the call is for a double takeout, and every now and then it's just to create chaos. So we'll see what Julie DiBaggio does with this. Tony's broom is to the inside of the one that is at the edge of the 8 foot. She is throwing a ton of weight at this. So she hits the right one first, it'll be good. If she gets, it's kind of switch difference. It does get past the guard. I don't think it's going to get the one on, well, got a little bit of a roll. Not the worst outcome, but that yellow one does, has no cover whatsoever. So if Kyle Snyder can effectively target that out of there, and it does appear that they are going for that. And it's underway. It's, might call it control weight. It's got to curl a bit. It's got to curl. It's going to, and it does. Okay, and so red ends up definitely lying one. It's hard to tell if they have second stone or not because we've got one on either side of the house just biting. From this angle, I would say if it came down to it, they would have to measure. Melvin Shaw is getting ready to deliver his first rock for yellow. Melvin is the vice for Joe Rockenbach's team. Melvin is playing the inside out turn here, and it is not going to hit anything. It is going to sail straight through. So our red team, 8 across the board. They are going to, they could probably draw around, and that looks like it should be the call. And judging from the weight, yeah, that is indeed the call. It should be wide enough to get past the guard. Question's going to be how much it's buried and also whether it stops. When I was playing on Tuesday, we had what appeared to be sort of a video game turbo alley where stones seemed to be dead and then just took off. Okay, so a little bit past the button, so this could be an opportunity for Melvin Shaw to freeze. Someone just said draw to it. I think that was Tony. That would be a pretty good outcome if Melvin can deliver it to that spot. This one needs to curl. It is not curling as yet. And it looks like it could get a piece of the button. And if it may tap the red just enough to, yeah. Melvin Shaw gets shot out of that, and it's not going to be easy to dislodge that. They can't come in from the other direction because there are just too many guards. Well, I suppose they could, but they wouldn't be able to get much weight on it if they did. Again, we've had 2 steals in this game. Steal 1 for red, the Nick Datlow team in each end. Nick Datlow, you can't tell if you can see it, but the name tag, well, the second name tag he has just above his Potomac Curling Club name tag says Dork on it. And the Bruins being held way out wide. So it looks like he is just going to get it. Giving up 1 here would not be bad at all. Sheet C, by the way, they still have not posted their score from the second end, and at some point I'm going to tap on the glass and ask them to, but hopefully they'll remember when they get down to the other end, finish 3. This rock is on the way. It is going to, it's certainly out past the guard. We have seen some late curl on some of these shots, and here it comes. In fact, it curled so much that I was wrong. It did not get past the guard, and it is essentially sitting as another guard. But certainly a force would not be bad at all after 2. I think if you told a skip that, hey, you're going to steal 2 in the first 2 ends, and then you're going to end up with, then you'll give up 1 in the third, I think most people would take that. But Tony Rockenbach, otherwise known as Joe Rockenbach. course, I also don't use my real name, and I'm not going to tell you what it is. Hey, we got score updates, which I will give you later. Give that to you after Joe Rockenbach delivers the first of his. He's coming from the other direction now. The left as you look at that overhead. Yeah, now you've got the view of it. It gets past the guard. Can he get it to the button? Can he maybe even tap the red a little bit more? He does. But the way that shook out, I'm not sure yellow is second rock.
They are.
They are?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ken has a closer view than I do because, oh yeah. Yeah, I see on Ken's screen it obviously is second rock. So, now possibly in position to score 2, and so Nick Datlow has an interesting shot here. Yeah, the button is pretty well guarded. At least no one's going to be able to throw takeout weight at it. There's a question of whether you can throw, you know, people have managed to get there throwing draw weight. Now if he can draw right to the button, then he'd be in pretty good shape. Be in kind of a pocket there. Of course, you can come over from the right, maybe do the combination pull shot and get it out of there. But that's academic until we see what happens here. And it's past the guard. Well, but not into the 4-foot, not into the 8-foot. So if red could magically dislodge those 2 yellows, they'd be in fantastic shape, but they can't. They're out of shots. So yellow, we think, is pretty sure they're line 2, which means they could tie if nothing else happens. But Mr. Rockenbach is going to try to get one more rock in there if he can. There's an opportunity for 3. Not the easiest shot, but there is an opportunity for 3. This one is a little more than halfway down the ice now. It's going to have to curl a lot. I don't think it's going to get there, but I've been wrong before. But in this case, I am wrong. Very nice shot from Joe Rockenbach, and yellow has taken 3.
Beautiful.
Beautiful shot there from Joe Rockenbach, and so have a stiff one. Have a stiff one. Now has taken a 3-2 lead after 3 ends. All right, so some quick updates around the other sheets. We did finally get a score posted on sheet C after their second end. That would be Queer the House of the Young Potomac crew scored 1, so they are down 2-1. On sheet D, Rainbow Road got one back, so they are with the hammer, so they are trailing 6-1. And sheet A, the third end just ended, and Courtney Shaw's group scored 3, so they are up 4-1. And sure, Mrs. Shaw, no, not Mrs. Shaw. I'm sure Courtney's mom is very happy to hear that if she is already awake and watching this. Back on our feature sheet, yellow has thrown a corner guard. And the first sheet for red. Actually heard the voice of Courtney Shaw going behind me, dashing through the warm room to fetch something from the locker room. Appeared to have a stain on her broom. All right, so I'm relaying that information to Courtney's mom, if she is listening. We have an update from sheet C, where Clear the House apparently has stolen 2. Ken was on that before I was. They are up 3-2. All your scores are up to date. Thanks to all the players for posting them. Every sheet is in the 4th end, which means they are all coming toward us. Hello to our 18 viewers. That seems to be, I think that's a record for a morning session on Friday morning. Jason Fountain with his second delivery on our feature sheet for the red team. That is the Nick Datlow team out of Potomac. It's going to just sneak past that corner guard and freeze to, no, bump out the yellow one in the back. So red with 1 in the house. The Datlow team has played very well, but they just had a shot that missed by an inch or 2 in the 3rd end, and then Joe Rockenbach with the masterful draw to the button, just tapping another red one out of there to get 3 in the 2nd end. That really was a fantastic shot. So if you're watching live, we don't mind if you rewind about 2 or 3 minutes and watch that shot and then come back and join us live again. Julie DiBaggio with the first of her shots now for Have a Stiff One. Looks like they intend this to be a guard. In fact, they're having to sweep it pretty hard to get across the hog line. Pretty hard to get across the hog line. Pretty hard to get across the, and they do. In fact, actually by a couple of feet. But that was one that looked, for all the world, that it was going to come out short. Fantastic sweeping there from Shannon Carney and Melvin Shaw. Jimmy Fallon now with the delivery. This is his first, the 3rd rock of the end for 8s across the board, which has the hammer after giving up that 3 in the last end. I think he's going to rub off this corner guard just a bit. And Mr. Rockenbach can sweep that all he wants. It is not going to get out of the house. It is just going to hang around. Oh boy, look at the over. The overhead can be a little deceptive. From this view, it looks like it's a little, well, no matter how close it is, if it gets tapped in the least, it is gone. Looks like Joe Rockenbach has called for this shot to curl in and wedge right onto one of those reds that is in the back of the 12-foot. Julia DiBaggio with a very smooth delivery that I envy. They're sweeping really hard on this shot from Julia DiBaggio. It is just going to, can we get?
Probably touching just because of the camera angle. It doesn't look like it, but I bet it's biting.
It probably is. We need the virtual biter bar on this. When are we going to get that, Ken?
The next feature, I guess.
The next feature we get. Yeah, if you've joined us in webcasts in the past, you can see there we have a lot of upgrades this year. The operator controls have really been upgraded, and we have a lot of spiffy new graphics. Jimmy Fallon has thrown some serious weight at this. Jason Fountain is jogging a little bit to chase it down the sheet, but it is not going to hit anything. So will we see yellow take another shot at putting one toward the back here? This is going to be Melvin Shaw's first delivery. He is the vice for Have a Stiff One. I tell you, on sheet C, the young team Clear the House has got 3 in the house, so the other team will need to clear the house against Clear the House. This delivery from Melvin Shaw has a bit more weight than Julia DiVaggio's delivery had first. It is going to take out the red at the back. We'll see if it sticks, and it does. That certainly appears to be shot from, in fact, I have a pretty good view of it because it's only a few feet from where I am sitting. I think yellow has shot at the back of the house. And they might have that one biting up there, but unless they get rid of the red at the back of the 12-foot, which at this point is going to be very, well, if they can throw a promote one of the ones they have up at the corner, they can maybe get to that. Kyle Snyder up now. And he is throwing some weight. And he'll get rid of something. In fact, he's missed by a couple of millimeters as he tried to get rid of that yellow in the back. And so, cruel game sometimes. You miss just by a little bit, and then you leave all sorts of opportunities for your opponent. It looks like Melvin Shaw is going to try to get this one over to the center. In the house would be great. In the 8-foot would be really good, and it looks like it has the weight. It will just get past that guard. Oh, that is looking like a pretty good shot.
A lot farther than I was expecting.
Yeah, farther than I was expecting, and maybe a little bit farther than Melvin was expecting, but Melvin and Joe are all smiles after that one. Now that rock is exposed. So red.
Big target.
Yeah, it's a big target. It does, though, force red to throw in the center, and looks like it could be setting up a force here. I can't tell. And this one's going to hit and stick.
But still exposed.
Still exposed, and I think a bonus there would have been to get a red. Courtney and Melvin are looking at something. I don't know if it's something they picked up off the ice. I picked up a stink bug the other day. If you follow the Curl DC Twitter feed, as you should, you may have seen that there was a frog on the ice the other day. As we get closer to colder weather, we will probably have fewer intruders along those lines. If you have not been here to Curl DC, this really is a wonderful facility. The war room is very nice, and we have tons of volunteers who come up with wonderful food. We are adjacent to a big ice center, so on a Saturday you will see a lot of kids in here lugging their hockey gear around. They also have college hockey here. I once had to stop as the entire University of Maryland hockey team went past me. And Joe Rockenbach is throwing, and he is going for that rock in the center. Close to the guard, but he gets that one out. Looks like he wanted the double there. That would have been a little greedy, but it would have perhaps left yellow sitting 3. They do not have hammer, of course, having scored 3 in the last end. Sheet D appears to have gone to the 5th end, but we don't know what happened in the 4th. They are the only game in the 5th end. Everything else is in the 4th. We do play 8 ends here. If there is a tie, skips actually have a choice of how to break the tie. They can go to an extra end, but if the skips agree, they can just go to they can just draw. Nick Datlow taking a good bit of time to take a look at this one. And now jogging back down the ice as if to get going a little more quickly. And someone has put out desserts, so I will be taking a slight break after the 4th end here. I will also endeavor to get the score from sheet D, which may involve tapping on the glass. I am not above doing that. If you've followed me on past webcasts, you do know that. All right, delivery now from Nick Datlow. A bit of weight. It looks like he is trying to thread through here, get past a corner guard, take out the yellow that's back there. I don't think it's going to get past the guard. It is not. Removing that guard, though, not the worst thing. Red now wide. What's that?
And now red shot.
Red is shot. Yellow is second shot. That is actually not a bad outcome. And what's interesting, Joe Rockenbach is at the other side while Melvin Shaw, his skip, is taking a look at things. And here comes a shot from Joe Rockenbach. It is his last. Again, yellow does not have hammer. They are going after this red one that is currently shot, which is not a bad idea. The sweepers have been on it for a while. They got the hit. They did not get the stick.
So yellow is still shot.
Yellow is still shot, and of course, that's the one they're going to target. The yellow that was biting near the top of the house is gone. That was gone, the shot before this one. So the red team of Nick Datlow, 8s across the board. I'm sorry, I left out an 8, but that's what you get when you have too many 8s. All right, so Nick Datlow is going to target that yellow if he can just, and really the slightest tap on that, and red will get out of this with 2 and reclaim the lead. We do have a score update from sheet D that I will give momentarily. But let's wait for this shot. All right, so Nick Datlow throwing not giant weight at this because he would love to stick around. In fact, it is curling. It is. I think this is going to end up getting him the 2. And yeah, that is going to stop right there. That's 2 for red. So the team of Nick Datlow, 8s across the board, has reclaimed the lead. And so a quick update from actually 2 other sheets that have gone to the 5th end. On sheet D, we've had a steal by Rainbow Road, which fell into an early 6-0 hole. It is now 6-2 on sheet D. On sheet A, Courtney Shaw's team, House of Labia, has stolen one, so they are now up 5-1. Sheet C is still playing in the fourth end, and it looks like the Husbands has just hit there. I think they took one with the hammer. We'll get confirmation of that in just a minute. So we're at the halfway point of all of our games now. So to reiterate, this is the Glitter Bombspiel coming to you from Potomac Curling Club, just off I-95, just north of the Capitol Beltway. A long drive for those of us who live in Northern Virginia, but certainly worth it to this wonderful facility. I'm Bo Dewar. Our operator and occasional commentator is the wizard of the cameras, Ken Clark.
Hello.
As he says hello. So we are in the fifth end on all of our sheets now. Some a little farther along than others, of course. Although actually, for this Bonspiel, they're almost playing all at the same time. And we're going to have a rot go through here. That is the first of the rots for Shannon Carney for the yellow team of Joe Rockenbach. Not seeing confirmation. Now, as I speak, they are putting up the score on sheet C. That was indeed one for the Husbands. That is Kyle Foster of the Plainfield/Potomac team. And so that is all knotted up at 3. So we have some pretty close games on B and C, which is good for those of us who are standing right between B and C. Well, not literally, that would be bad, but a good view of sheets B and C. Second delivery from Jason Fountain looks like a good one. It's going to be, well, it just kept drifting a little bit, but that, of course, you'd have to throw the very wide draw to get at it. So, pretty good shot from right there. That is moderately well guarded. We'll say it's about actually, I can get straight down the line and take a look at it. It is, we'll say 50% guarded. Shannon Carney looks like she may be about to fall afoul of the free guard zone rule again, unless this one sticks around, which it will not, and so they will be replacing this one. That pesky free guard zone. That is the second rock we have seen replaced because of that rule. Which, of course, as I understand it from the history of curling, the free guard zone was a massive improvement because you used to have these games in Canada where they would just take out each other's stones and score one, and that would be it. With free guard zone, we have a bit more action than that. And our red team with Jimmy Fallon delivering now is going to try to take advantage and put up another guard. Will make it very difficult. Well, over curls a bit, and that's, I think that guard is doing pretty much the same as the first guard. We're down to 18 viewers, so a fond farewell to the two of you who left, but thank you for sticking around. Feel free to use our chat feature. It is on. Tell us what you think of what's going on. We don't have any triangle teams in the first two. That's a shame. I always like talking with the triangle people. Of course, I went to one triangle school. My wife went to another triangle school. It is a wonderful area. I want to go curling there at some point. I am skipping a board meeting this weekend to be here, but don't tell anyone. That shot peels out one of the red guards and puts yellow off to the corner. leaves the red in the house is now much more exposed than it was. We're going to see what Jimmy Fallon does here to replace that. Looks like he might be trying to replace that guard, but I think he's going to bump a guard that's already out, the yellow guard that's already out there. The sweepers are urging it to curl, and it ends up on smack on the center line. You can see it in the long view there.
Time to peel another guard.
Yeah. Joey DiBaggio up for her second. Again, yellow has hammer here, having given up 2 and surrendered the lead. Yeah, Joey DiBaggio has tremendous form. The envy of those of us who slide all over the ice. Oh, speaking of sliding all over the ice, oh my goodness, that was a terrible tumble there from Shannon Carney. She is okay, though. The trick with falling is not to hit your head. I have hit my head on the ice before. It is not fun. So the first rock now coming up for Kyle Snyder, of our red team. Please let us know if you can still hear us okay. I've been getting a little bit of crackling on my headset, but it's probably my fault for wandering over to try to get a peek down the center line while I was still attached to the headphone.
It was just me fiddling with the connections. My one ear keeps going out.
We have not yet gone Bluetooth here. Well, if the goal here is to create more traffic in there, then red is certainly succeeding. Quite a bit of traffic out front. Melvin Shaw is going to throw a lot of weight at this. Just try to maybe take out as many of these as he can. Get the 2 guards out of there. This might, well, no, it's going to sail between the 2 guards, but take out the 2 in the house.
Wow.
If he meant to do that, it was incredible. If he didn't mean to do that, that was lucky. Because the space between the guards there was barely the width of a rock, and it did not touch either one of those guards. So he has gotten rid of the 2 reds in the house and left a yellow. Now that yellow is exposed, but Melvin Shaw has just gotten his team out of jail.
We need to get the instant replay set up on this system. The system is capable of it. We just haven't gotten a chance to set it up yet.
Maybe for Embassy Row in November, right?
Yep.
All right. I think this one might be over curling a bit. I think it's going, yeah. They tried to sweep for line. It is going to tap the guard. Well, another nice, perhaps accidental outcome is red does have one in the house now. Melvin Shaw is obviously going to target that one. If he were to manage to hit that and roll behind the guards, that would be ideal, but that is a long roll. That is from almost from, it's about 2/3 of the way across the house. So I would say getting rid of this one would be under the scoring system of the 5-point curling scoring system of Curling Zone or the 4-point system of the International Curling Federation. Either way, I think if he gets rid of this one and sticks, that would be a 100% shot. Either 4 or 5 points, depending on which scoring system you prefer. And he is going to hit, and he is going to stick and get just a slight roll. It's exposed, but there's really no way he could have put a shot out there that would not be exposed. We could be looking at a blank here. Now, we've just gotten to skip rocks, but we have just the 1 rock in the house. It is exposed. It's a very difficult hit and roll from this angle. Obviously a lot to come, and you know, someone could always just totally whiff on one and we could get something else in there. But the way these skips have been playing this game, I would not expect a miss here. Of course, I just watched the football game in which the commentators kept talking about how Robbie Gould, the great kicker for the 49ers, hadn't missed a field goal in eons, and then, of course, they watched him miss 2 of them. We do have a score update from Sheet D that I will pass along after Nick Datlow throws the first of his skip rots here on Sheet B. Datlow throwing a bit of power at this one. I think he's going for the inside of that, and if it curls, it's going to miss. No, it should get just, oh my goodness, he gets the roll, but too much of a roll. And so the house is clear. That actually is a pretty good outcome for yellow, because now they could potentially bury one behind those 2 red guards, and since one of them was nicked a little bit, there's no longer that port that Melvin Shaw miraculously threw a couple of shots ago. So there's no getting through those guards to the left of the house, so Tony Rockenbach can put one around, and that does look like it's the call. You might not be looking at a blank in this end after all. Well, that's what I get for saying it looks like a blank. Quick update from Sheet D. Our red team over there, 100% those bitches from Potomac, has scored 1 with hammer in the 5th. They now lead 7-2. All right, the delivery here from Joe Rockenbach, who in the 3rd end put a fantastic draw in there to get 3. This draw, I think it looks a little heavy, and the sweepers are off of it. And yeah, that's not going to stick around at all. And Melvin Shaw just catches it and tosses it out of play. So maybe we're looking at a blank after all. Depends on whether Brad Datlow is able to have better success with his draw.
You meant Nick there?
Yeah, they are, and same shot, and they know the line because they just saw Joe Rockenbach throw it, but Joe threw a bit harder than he wanted to. They're putting lunch out here, and I'm starting to get hungry. We will take a bit of a break between games, assuming that they all finish in timely fashion. The sweepers are on this delivery from Nick Datlow, almost out of his hand. But now it needs to curl to get behind those guards. It is not going to get behind those guards. It's going to stick in the house, but nowhere near the guards. So totally exposed rock here for Joe Rockenbach to throw at. If he hits a corner of it, he can blank and maintain the hammer. If he sticks, we will have a tie game, but he will hand the hammer back to the Nick Datlow team. And of course, we can't tell what the call is at all, or whether he's trying to get a piece or all of it. Getting all of it, of course, would be the safer play, because you have just more to aim at. Actually, not throwing quite as much weight as I would have expected on this. Oh boy. It is going to just nick it, but not enough, and that is a total of 1 for our red team, Nick Datlow from Potomac. The 5th end also just ended on sheet A, so both of the, and they've already, wait a minute, now I'm trying to get my bearings. Oh, yeah. 5th end just ended on sheet A, so both of the Shaws just finished their 5th end. On sheet A, that was a score of 1 with hammer for cold play, clocking in with a 1. I am sorry, I really should stop trying to make these awful references. They have scored 1 with hammer. It is 5 2 in favor of Courtney Shaw's team. So the Shaws playing on neighboring sheets right now. Courtney is up 5-2. Melvin is down 5-3. And again, hello to Courtney's mom if you are watching. Our first rock on sheet B, our feature sheet in this end, is a center guard from Jason Fountain. That took a weird little counter spin at the end. It looked like it was going to end up right on the center line. Instead, it is not quite biting the center line. Still a very effective center guard there from Jason Fountain. On sheet C, incidentally, we are, on sheet C, incidentally, we are just to the end of the fifth end. They are the only sheet still playing the fifth. And it looks like the red team, which has obviously shuffled members around, because I don't think that's Diana Black. And, well, no, maybe, I guess that is Diana Black in the hack. In any case, they are drawing against maybe 3. It's hard to tell from here, and we do not have. Oh, I can kind of see the overhead there. Okay, they're drawing against 2. They could use backing on that one. They don't need it. That is going to be 1 for red on sheet C. So Queer the House has taken a 4-3 lead.
All teams now on sheets on M6.
They are indeed, and maybe Ken can tell me what just happened on sheet B as Jason Fountain's shot has just gone through the house. I don't know. It almost looked like they were about to kick it away because it was burned. Did that happen, or did they just?
Was busy on the score at the moment. I didn't see.
So it may have just been too heavy. So our situation in the front of the house is that you can see got a center guard and a corner guard, and it looks like we're about to have another center guard. And indeed we have now a yellow rock right on the center line, a red rock next to it diagonally off of it. So a couple of guards to make things complicated. Jimmy Fallon's first delivery is really wide, and sweepers are off of it. I think this is too heavy. I think this one may be sailing through the house as well, following exactly the same path as Jason Fountain's. And it's coming toward us. Oh no, it's coming toward us in the webcast position. No, it is through the house. Obviously we are protected from the ice by a nicely redone little platform out here. Made a few improvements here at Potomac Curling Club over the summer. If you have not been here, please do come to Potomac Curling Club. It's a wonderful place. It's so nice, I'm thinking of moving closer. But I think my wife might have veto power on that, and our kids are still in school. Yellow has peeled one of their own guards. Kind of an odd end here. I don't think our leads and seconds have done quite what they wanted to do. We're left with a couple of guards here. This is the second shot now from Jimmy Fallon, who is the second for the red team that is up right now. They scored in the last 2 ends, so they do not have hammer. And this suddenly curled, I think, a bit more than they were expecting. They did bump one of theirs into the house. Joe Rockenbach, though, I think Joe Rockenbach looks like he wants Joey DiBaggio to get rid of the guard. Or not. From where he's holding the broom, it looks like they maybe try to take out the one in the house rather than the guard. Joey DiBaggio is playing as the second for our yellow team. Skipped by Joe Rockenbach. This one has a fair amount of weight. Yeah, they do want the one in the house. And they are, well, Joe's in the way, but yeah, they get it, and they get a nice roll behind the center guard. I would call that about, wow, the more I look at, the more that looks like another 99% guard. Check Ken's camera angle here. Yeah, I would say about a 99% guard, and it looks like our red team, Kyle Snyder, the vice, it looks like he is going to target that. He's targeting his own guard. So that the one yellow that's in the house would be exposed. I think this is going to get part of it. See how if it gets enough to move it a good ways, and it does. In fact, it just misses the yellow corner guard. It's not really guarding much of anything. We just have a yellow one now. It's totally exposed, but yellow is up now. Melvin Shaw is getting into the hack. Melvin's delivery, it looks like he is trying to draw. I don't know. Well, it's going to end up. Could be trying to split the house a bit. Not really on both ends, but this one's going to drift a little bit past the tee line. Tony Rockenbach's going to try to make it drift a little bit more past the tee line, and he gets it to move, I'd say, at least another 3 inches, so good job there. So yellow with 2 in the house, and this would be a difficult double takeout even by really elite standards. Maybe one of the Clausen brothers could come out and take care of it. Again, Hunter Clausen, along with Eli Clausen and Catherine Goria-Vanova, all from Potomac, in Scotland right now to play the World Mixed Championships, having won the U.S. Mixed Championships in the spring.
I think their first game is at 11 a.m. tomorrow, if I did the math correctly. 11 a.m. East Coast time for us.
As of Tuesday, I hadn't heard confirmation on whether that would be on YouTube. Do we know?
I don't know. I haven't seen.
Yeah, we'll have to check into that. World Curling TV sometimes puts things like that on YouTube. I did ask Hunter. About that when he was here Tuesday night practicing. He was not sure if it would be on or not. Melvin Shaw delivering now. Yellow has shot already. It's the one that he put up. Red took out the one that was second shot that was up at the top of the house. Looks like this one is just trying to, it's going to guard the one they have in the house. I think they might have swept it a bit too much and left a tiny bit of it exposed. And they could take the line and maybe nip that one out, and red could be line 2 without hammer. In fact, Jimmy Fallon at the other end of the ice got down in the hack to see how much of it is exposed. as the skip, Nick Datlow, mates his way to the other end. Somebody is doing push-ups and clapping between them. It must be nice to be that young. I really don't remember. Before the ice is melted here at Potomac, I will have a milestone birthday, but I don't really want to talk about that right now. As Nick Datlow is in the house for the first of our skip rocks. Taking a deep breath before delivering this one. This could be a pivotal rock in this game. He held on to that one for a long time, but you know, he's only got one sweeper on it. In fact, I do see Jason Fountain out there. It gets just past the guard and bumps the yellow one a bit. The yellow one's still going to be second shot. But red is now shot, and if yellow can follow exactly the same path, they could potentially bump the red one and be line two. It's kind of funny watching Courtney Shaw and Joe Rockenbach on neighboring sheets, both making their way down to the other end, skating on their sliders, something I cannot do. I do not have that kind of balance. And this one, oh, that is a very nice shot. Oh, and the red one scoots past there. Oh, Joe Rockenbach has thrown a couple of nice ones now. Of course, this yellow shot rock is exposed. They could potentially get two. Olympian Debbie McCormick is in the warm room. Maybe she could get out there and take out both of them. Looks like we have handshakes on sheet D. In fact, we do have handshakes on sheet D. I would assume that 100% those bitches took care of that game, considering they were up 7-2 after 5. So that one is going to wrap up after 6. That is going to be a win for the red team. 100% those bitches. They are taking down the score, so we do not yet have. We don't have the final score on that. I will ask someone who comes out of there. But yeah, that is our first result of the day. Goes to 100% those bitches from Potomac. That's Michael Ray, Brandon Neff, James Frank, and Bill Lamberson. Meanwhile, back on our feature sheet. Oh, this is going to wreck on the guard. And that is not the result that the red team of Nick Datlow wanted. The hammer is coming now from Joe Rockenbach, and he has a relatively simple draw for 3. Been an interesting game here in the sense that our yellow team of Joe Rockenbach has given up a couple of steals, but if he converts this will be the second of their triples with hammer. So very eventful ends with hammer for Joe Rockenbach's team. Oh, they need to get on this one. Boy, the worst possible outcome would be to bump a red one to where it outcounts the second yellow, so they are off of it to make sure that does not happen. And it does not, but that will be, should still be 2 for yellow. Yeah, they're kicking everything away. So that's going to be 2 for yellow. So not bad, but that was an opportunity for 3. So we are tied at 5 on our feature sheet. I'm going to go away for a second, find out the score on sheet D, and also see if they have cookies. Right back. All right, collected our sheet D score there. That final was 8-2 after 6 ends for 100% those bitches. We had handshakes a short time ago. So in our remaining games, we have gone to the 7th end on 2 of our games, and don't see a score posted on sheet A, but someone might be standing in front of where that score is posted. Sheet C is still in the 6th. The yellow team, this might be the hammer for our yellow team, the husbands. And they are, oh boy, they're trying to sweep it out. It looks like they've given up certainly a steal of 1, probably 2. That is indeed the hammer. Oh, they are kicking it away, so we're not going to have measurement of any kind, so they agreed to something. No, I do not see a score on sheet A. Of course, I don't see it on sheet B either, but we know that it is 5-5. So here on our feature sheet, we are to second rots now. Julie DiBaggio is about to deliver. The red team of Nick Datlow has hammer. Again, these are 8-end games, so we are nearing the end of things, which is good because I have a lot I want to try to get accomplished between games. It's kind of funny how later in the game we seem to have more people forgetting to post these scores.
Guess you can run out there and ask.
I can't. I feel like I've left you alone too many times already. I also did not locate any cookies. There are often cookies out at this stage, but they are putting out lunch. I suppose I'm supposed to have lunch before I have my dessert. So everyone here looking out for my best interests. Red is out to take out at least one of those guards. They take out at least one of those guards. So leaving the yellow rock in the house mostly exposed. All right, DiBaggio back in the house for her second delivery for yellow. She is the second for the team of Joe Rockenbach. Tell you what, Courtney's mom, if you're watching, can you call her and make her post the score? Well, I'm assuming she doesn't have her phone on the ice, so that probably wouldn't work. All right, DiBaggio is going a bit wide with this. It's kind of funny. Melvin Shaw almost looks like he's trying to kick it to get it over there. He's not, of course, but just the motion from here almost looks like he was. So they have a nice diagonal line of stones there. Two of them effectively guarding the one they have in the house. Jimmy Fallon is going after that guard that's out in front, throwing a considerable amount of weight. This is definitely going to hit it. And it looks like it will probably send it spilling pretty far. Yep, just a standard peel of the guard. Yeah, see that yellow shot actually is in the house. So now yellow has two in the house. We'll see if Melvin Shaw is planning to guard that. Oh, we finally have a score update on sheet A, and that would be the red team of Courtney Shaw. Scored one with the hammer. They lead 6-2 after 6. And we have a score update on sheet C, where red did indeed steal 2. They now have 6. So that is the team of Diana Black and a few other young players from Potomac. They lead 6-3 on that sheet. So oddly enough, the only team that has not posted their score is sheet B, but we know that it is 5-5. In our feature game, I did not see while I was looking at other options here. I don't know quite what happened, but there's no red in there. Ken, did you see that shot?
No, I was doing score stuff too. So
yeah, I need to quit feeding Ken score updates right before. Start delivering them right after a rock has been delivered.
We need 3 people to manage this webcast.
In any case, there are just 2 yellows and no reds in there. So I'm not sure if they tried to put a third yellow in the house and missed or what. Well, oh, no, wait a minute. They must have replaced the guard because there were 3 yellows on that diagonal. And after that shot, they are slightly less than diagonal, but not by much. So this is shaping up to be a bit of a difficult end for the red team of Nick Datlow. Again, they do have hammer, but it's going to be difficult for them to score a big number, certainly. Might be difficult for them to score at all. Shaw taking his time getting into the hack, and are we getting another guard here? Looks that way, and this will get into the house. Just add a bit of congestion, which is appropriate for this time of the year. Well, I thought it was going to get into the house, and it did not. But it's an effective guard of the 2 that yellow already has in there. Kyle Snyder for the red team will have to take careful aim at that.
Going for a draw, I think he was pointing.
Kyle Snyder kind of delivering across his body, and they're taking the other draw path. Coming into the left as you see it on your screen. I think this is going to sail through. Well, no, it's Melvin Shaw's trying to sweep it out there. Okay, it didn't quite sail through, but it did go through. So, again, yellow in really good shape in this end as we head now into Skip Rocks. It is Joe Rockenbach is taking a careful look at it. I would think that he would want to guard the draw path we just saw. Pardon me. Speaking of congestion. All right. All right, Joe is in the hack now, and Melvin Shaw is holding that broom about as wide as you possibly can. So I'm going to guess that this is a guard slash draw. I guess that would be a gaw or a draward. Certainly he won't mind if this is in the house as long as it is guarding that draw path. I think this will get into the house. Might be over curling just a tad. No, no. No, that's pretty good. That would be a tricky draw for Nick Datlow to get there from that angle. I mean, he could possibly get the back of the 4-foot, but would he outcount the yellow that's already on the 4-foot?
I think he wants to double the second rock and try to hit the second rock and the first rock, I think is what he's going for a double on.
A double would be very welcome at this point. For yellow, they're looking at all of the angles. One of those funny ends where I think all the rods in play belong to the same team, and it is not the team with the hammer. So be warned if you are on other sheets, because we may have some flying granite very shortly. Datlow rears back, slides hard.
And he's off.
The rock is away. It has to curl. It will. It will get one of them out of there. Not a horrible result.
Not a good position to be in when you don't have hammer, though.
Yep.
They do? Oh, no, they do have hammer. Is that right? Yeah.
Right. So my guess would be that Joe Rockenbach is simply going to replace that guard.
Lunch is ready.
The bell has, we've had the bell ring for lunch. We cannot have lunch until these people finish their games. Well, we could, but then you wouldn't have a webcast.
Well, we just leave it running on the
Right.
on the two ends, and you can kind of watch by yourself and make your own commentary on that.
There are a lot of live streams like that. There are some people, some clubs just kind of throw cameras up and let you watch. I don't know, maybe some of our viewers have muted me by now. So now if you're wondering about the others, oh, No, I'm not going to tell you what's going on the sheets right now. I'm going to tell you what's going on here, which is that I think Joe Rockenbach may have thrown this a bit too far. Of course, they're furiously sweeping it, so maybe not. Okay, so he's got one at the back of the button. So I do not envy Nick Datlow this shot. And the good news is that I think Rockenbach's shot just gave him a bit of backing. So if he comes, I mean, he's drawing against 3. His goal here is to score 1 / avoid disaster.
So the one in back is second shot. So what do you do? It's like
Definitely. So he needs to draw the full 4-foot. But again, he has back. If he just taps that yellow one at the back, he will score 1 and have the lead coming into our 8th and final end.
and if not, he's in big trouble. So unless he draws.
That he would be. Well, he'd maintain hammer, but he would have 1 end remaining to score a bundle.
It's the hammer.
It's kind of funny because Datlow's team, I think, has been fairly consistent, throwing fairly well, but they've given up 2 big ends, and unless this rock curls a lot, he's going to give up another one. That needs to curl. I mean, he's got the backing. Oh, and it's curling more than I thought. That is going to probably be 1. They're taking a look at it, and
I think it's yellow.
I think Melvin Shaw pointed at the yellow, and they both pointed at the yellow. That is a steal of 1. Not the worst thing that could have happened in that situation, but also not the best. Score update from Sheet A. Yellow Coldplay from Philadelphia has scored 1. So they are down 6-3. They will play on for their 8th end. Be very difficult to score there. Right. And your commentator will be right back.
So here we are, beginning of end 8. Shannon Kearney up to throw.
Where are we, guys? Real tight. We in? Let's go. We gotta go. I don't want a corner guard. I do. Yeah. Keep it alive.
Just kept on going there. And they're shaking hands on sheet C.
Okay, into the 8th end.
Yeah, so they just shook hands on sheet C.
Okay, so that must be a win for Queer the House. We'll see if they post the final score. Probably not, but it is kind of academic. On yellow, on our feature sheet, yellow just threw a rock through the house. This could get complicated. If we get an extra end, then it will severely limit the time that we have between ends. I will endeavor to get a final score from sheet C, but again, Queer the House has won that one. And it may just be kind of academic. And we do have a thrilling conclusion here on sheet B, probably a less thrilling conclusion on sheet A. That is 6-3, and Courtney Shaw's team has the lead and the hammer. Here on sheet B,
Oh, nicely.
they have
nicely
drawn
done.
in to lie 2. So Julie DiBaggio now delivering the second for yellow, which is have a stiff one if you're into that.
Looks like Joe wants to draw in between the two reds. See how Julia can do.
Got people shouting next to me, which is kind of interesting. As Julia's shot looks to be going pretty much where she wants it to go. That is very nice.
Not buried, but
It's going to be very difficult to get that one out because
dangerous to not hit your own out. Yeah, it's going to try promoting his into hers, it looks like.
so I can barely hear Ken over the din in the warm room at this stage. Jimmy Fallon has just thrown one with a considerable amount of weight. Looks like they're going for the promotion takeout. Try to go bang, bang, and get rid of that yellow. They're going to go bang and get rid of one of their reds, and that the second red will spill. Looks like it is out of the house.
Probably.
I actually have a pretty good view of it, and yeah, I think it is out of the house. So Rockenbach may have Julie DiBaggio target the red rock. No, well, they're having a discussion about it. Guard or takeout? Guard or takeout? Sheet A, by the way, is getting pretty close to done. The yellow team from Philadelphia has to score a bunch here. They've got one in the house, and I think it's about to disappear. Well, maybe not. Maybe so. Nope, maybe not. So it is. Yeah, there's a yellow one just biting in there. So Coldplay not yet out. Unlike Chris Martin and Gwyneth Paltrow's marriage. Again, another Coldplay reference that I probably shouldn't be making. And on our feature sheet, Julie DiBaggio has just put up a pretty effective guard. And Nick Datlow makes the motion to Jimmy Fallon to say, get rid of these rocks. So, oh, hang on. All right.
Oh, nice shot.
Nice shot from Jimmy Fallon. And suddenly things look a lot better for Red. We do have a score update from Sheet C. Our final, Queer the House actually stole 4 in that last end. So that was a close game for a while, but then Queer the House stole 6 over the last 2 ends to make it a bit more lopsided. Sheet A, meanwhile, they're taking another shot at this. I'm guessing that is the vice, Deborah Martin, and she nates both of them disappear. That should be handshakes. It should be handshakes. There we go. That is handshakes. So that is a win for House of La Labia, Courtney Shaw's team. Hello to Courtney's mom. Congratulations. And it could be 2 wins for the Shaw family. But they do have a bit of work to do here. And again, they do not have hammer. Nick Datlow kind of going for the jugular here, wants to promote, well, or not. He was thinking of promoting the red stone that's at the top of the house, get it buried behind 3 yellow guards with only the narrowest of ports to get at it. But they're also looking at those guards. Not really sure why, honestly. Now, granted, the promotion would be a pretty difficult shot. Following kind of the same line that Jimmy Fallon just threw, though. And Jimmy Fallon made, of course, an excellent shot there. We've seen a couple of really good shots in this game. Of course, Joe Rockenbach with a draw for 3. And then Jimmy Fallon with that promotion takeout there. This rock has a lot of weight. It's like they're trying to get rid of every yellow in creation. You might even get rid of some yellows on the other sheets. But they end up only getting 1.
But it leaves the center open, which, since they have hammer, is kind of what they want, ultimately.
It is open, but it's going to, the yellow guards are still going to make it a little bit difficult to get through, although they would have a lot of the house to draw to. If Red had the last shot here, they would be drawing for 3. Well, they wouldn't be drawing at all. They'd be shaking hands. Anyway, here's Melvin Shaw's shot. Coming wide and perhaps looking to plug that hole back up. And I think they will. Sweepers are on it, but they'll get it there. He'll get it to the center line. I don't think it's biting, but I don't think it really needs to. So Kyle Snyder to the last of his shots for Red. He is the vice for Nick Datlow on 8s across the board. We have people from Vancouver in the house. Well, not in the house, but in the warm room, ready to play their Nets game. It will be a fairly diverse group of people playing the Nets. And the first session today had a lot of teams from Potomac. As you can imagine, this is where we are. Everybody can travel here relatively easily, except if you live where I live in Northern Virginia. All right, Kyle Snyder now delivering his second rock. Again, with a little bit of venom, and also Fountain and Fallon are sweeping fairly hard. Maybe the double? Boom, and bonk. Okay. So instead of 3 guards kind of spread out, you have 2 center guards clumped together. They're actually close enough to the house that you can see them. You can actually see every rock in play on the overhead shot right now. There are no long guards in play. Rockenbach is going down to the other end for the first of his skip rocks. And my phone battery's down to 20%. That is why I brought a charger. Rockenbach is screen. They made this call fairly quickly. They didn't deliberate over this much at all. Melvin Shaw is holding that broom out wide. They can draw behind those two guards. They can make things rather complicated.
Yep, line. Yep, line.
Rockenbach wants them to sweep for line, as you may hear from our ambient sounds. This will drift slightly into the house and be no, my goodness, that went, oh my goodness, right on the button. Joe's second outstanding draw.
And pretty well buried.
So Nick Datlow has some work to do at this point.
He's down by a point. He's got to score here.
He does have second and third. Of course, your webcast team is hoping for, we don't have any real rooting interest in this except for no extra end, so that we can grab lunch between games. The next draw is at noon. In fact, while they're discussing, a quick run-through of what we have at noon. Sheet A, a team called Sparkle Motion 2.0 from San Francisco, Santa Fe, and Potomac. Wow, that's an interesting mix there. They're playing double M, double D from Long Island. On Sheet B, our feature sheet, West Hollywood from Hollywood. Up against my favorite team name from North End of Potomac, it's non-binary code error 1138. Sheet C, Eggplant Emoji from Vancouver versus Glitterati from Potomac. Sheet D, Dolly Rocks from Detroit versus Bond Girls from Royal Canadian. So we will have two Canadian groups, one Hollywood group, and at least some people from San Francisco and Santa Fe in our second session today. So we will expect a lot of people to be tuning in here. They are taking a long time to look at this one. If they take any longer, you might have Courtney come out and say something. But they are looking at every possible angle here. Nick Datlow now jogging to the other end. This is tricky. Can they get the yellow ones to move? Might be good if they could just get both of those center guards out to start with. If they can get both of those center guards to go, then they would leave themselves an easier shot with the hammer. Again, this is the first of Nick Datlow's shot. Nick Datlow, the skip for our red team from Potomac. 8s across the board. There will be no 8s in this game. There's only an 8th end that we are playing right now. This is being thrown with some weight. Melvin Shaw is blocking my view of it. Now he moves. Can he get both of them? He's going to get the yellow, and, well, what happened there? That, so many rots went so many different directions. So that leaves yellow with two annoying rots in the house. Only one of them is shot, though. So if Nick Datlow were to throw right now, the obvious shot would be to take out that yellow and win the game. But Tony Rockenbach has one more shot to throw some sort of guard up in there or create some other sort of havoc. Melvin Shaw wants to bump up the one that's in the 12-foot. Might also, if he were to do that, he might also rub a red stone out of there. They are taking their time with this one. We were clipping along at a very nice pace here. There's always one game in these, but at least this one's close. We had a couple of games in Bonspiel's last year where you had a team that was that would have needed divine intervention to force an extra end, and they continued to play. This one is very close. One of the closest games we've had in any Bonspiel that I've covered here. They're still talking about it as Joe Rockenbach gets down. Not yet in the hack, now in the hack. I think they're still talking about it a little bit. Melvin Shaw has that broom out wide. A guard is fine, a draw is fine. So they Rockenbach has obviously opted against whatever risky shot Melvin Shaw was suggesting. This is a pretty light-looking guard. They are sweeping very hard. As you can hear the yell, Mike, this is slowing down a tremendous amount as it gets to the hog line. And then it curls all the way around. So this is going to leave a shot for all the marbles from Nick Datlow. Basically, make that yellow one disappear. It doesn't matter if you stick. Just make it go away. At least out of the 8-foot. And Nick Datlow wins. But that means you need to hit it kind of thin, and if you miss, that's a steal of 1, and the game goes the other way.
Doesn't look like any chance for evening up the score here. I think this is the last end. I'm pretty sure we can guarantee that.
Oh, you're so optimistic. I'm actually looking at a scenario where
I guess so.
they bump the red one spills out, and the yellow one goes just far enough to outcount one but not the other, and then we go to an extra.
Well, they'd have to get both yellows out and one of the reds out and not stick. So I don't
know. They just have to bump the yellow one.
Well, back.
I guess the exactly the right distance where it's outcounting one red and not the other.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. There is that possibility, but
there is that, and the tricky thing is he needs. Oh, and there's, of course, also the actually, if he sticks and the yellow one doesn't move very far, then we're also looking at an extra end.
Well, here it comes.
So, Ken, you have just jinxed things. Judging by the weight thrown on this one, though, I think this is either going to knock it out or whiff past. They're sweeping it a lot, and they whiff. They swept it too much, and you have your winner. Is have a stiff one if you're into that. Joe Rockenbach, Melvin Shaw, Julie DiBaggio, and Shan Carney. We have finished our first session here. We will be back in 15.
So, guess that's where I will be shutting down this webcast and starting a new one in a few minutes. See you then.